What's up? What's up? Let's get this party started. Exactly. Is that George? Jorge? I'll probably just offended somebody. Anyway, let's go. Man, what an awkward intro. Let's talk about this. Happy Easter, everybody. We got a regular week. We're pricing in a regular week as far as the expected moves go. I do have uploaded 3 shorts going over SPY, QQQ, IWM, all separately. I did go over the expected moves for each one of those. Also, there's the regular YouTube video on downturn trading. And if you actually... I don't know what kicked it off. I decided to go into an expected moves rant, kind of talking about what those lines actually are. A little bit more, so if you're kind of curious like what these blue lines are, I promise to load. Go to Downturn Trading, my other channel, pre-recorded, and just watch that video. Good evening from Lakeland, Florida. Good evening from Kansas City. Smack dab in the middle. I just wanted to be the same distance to everybody, so I thought it would be fair for me to live in Kansas City, so that's why. But I promised everybody we'd keep this short, sweet, to the point. We'll just go over tickers so that anybody is, having their family dinner right now, enjoying the holidays, they can play catch up, rather quickly. As far as the dollar goes, I took a play, but I can't remember if I'm bullish or bearish the dollar. I want to say I'm short-term bullish, long-term bearish, but I'm starting to lean into... I'm not going to take long plays in the dollar anymore. I'm just going to short it. If it goes up, I'm going to add more. Again, I really want to attack the dollar short. So right now, I am short the dollar. I am long the British pound US dollar. That is bullish. Yeah, that is bullish the dollar. All right, so I'm still bullish. Right? God, why am I so confused at this? I always mix this up with Forex. It always gets me. Alright, so if I'm bullish the dollar, I want this to go down. If I'm bearish the dollar, it's going to go up. Boom, I'm long. Okay, I am bearish the dollar. It's been one of those days. I hate, this is why I just like USD in the front. It's so much easier. Anyway, alright, so I'm bearish the dollar. Hope this thing goes to the moon. This does look like it's going to... This is what kind of got me thinking on that, is that we rallied up. It did base out. We're starting to crack above there. So normally I don't like shorting things coming into a bottom of a zone like this. And if you follow me for a while, if you have my charts for whatever means, like you're in the mentorship or you like the tier 1 Patreon is the $5 a month one. And that's where you guys get my charts and all my trade alerts on the E-Trade account. That's a growth account that we started with 0 on Friday, January 1. We put in $150 a week to grow it. A direct competitor to Jeremy from Financial Education. Anyway, if you follow me for some time, you'll know that if you go long coming into the bottom of a zone like this, you're probably not going to be here very long. I got you on, but I'm actually paying attention to the Masters. Golf? That's golf, right? Should know that. I've never actually watched golf on TV. I know it's what the rich people do, so I did go out and buy clubs, and man, do I look like a joke. One, my clubs, I thought all clubs were expensive, so I'm the only guy out there. I got the golf outfit. I got $3,000 clubs. Sometimes I hit the ball, sometimes I don't. It's kind of embarrassing. Never watched it on TV, though. I thought golf would be much easier. You just hit the ball. How hard could it be? It's difficult, I'll give you that. I will say the guy that was teaching me, you guys know this is not good news. You've seen him on a couple of my streams, Fat Man Zoom. He did get brain cancer about 15 months ago. And they told him 12 to 18 months. He did pass away yesterday, so anyone that's waiting for that news, we did finally get that. So sucks to hear, but he was actually trying to help me with golf. But let's for everyone that does know who that is, Godspeed, Fat Man. Yeah. I guess I don't know. I'm always weird when it comes to that stuff. But I guess the one good news there, and this is a conversation I had with him a while back. He was feeling down, and I said, the coolest thing you have right now is you get to say goodbye. Most people just get smoked in a car accident, something like that, and they don't get to say goodbye. They get an awkward phone call, the police or an armed person at their door, just knocking to say, hey, hope you're sitting down, and that sucks. So there is a silver lining. Got plenty of time to say goodbye. Spend that time wisely, which I guess if we're all going there in the end, right? At least, I don't know if that's the better way to go, but a heads up is nice. I did not know him, but still sucks. It did. He was a great guy. What's up, Leon? Dan slapped Don for me. Thanks. I'll tell Dan you said that. All right, as far as the dollar goes, I could see the dollar bouncing. I would really rather short it right here. Now, to be clear, my position, the British pound, is a pretty small position. So it's currently red, and I don't care. Like, that goes up, I am only going to grab more, and that's it, over and over. I'm going to hammer this dollar short. This would suck, but just to tell you guys how I'm thinking, if the dollar's up here, I'm still in it for right now. I got to be honest, if you guys ever catch me, pull me, Kevin, flip-flopping, it's because I have a thing where I don't like seeing red in my account. It does annoy me. So I might come in all gung-ho, like, yeah, I'll take on a red position, and I'll just add more. Long-term play. I'll see that red in my account for like 3 days in a row. I'm like, this is stupid. And then I get out. What happened to you? I heard last week you talk about anxiety when you feel cramps when working out. Cramps in general. And I think just touching the anxiety parts, for some, like my anxiety symptoms, it feels like I'm plugged into a wall. I could probably individually draw out my nervous system, like my actual nerves, because they all feel like they're just on fire. Or just plugged into a wall. I don't know, like energized, over-energized. So anytime I cramp or twitch, it just triggers more anxiety, and working out, I couldn't even do that. It has never affected my trading up until the week before last, and that's why last week I took it easy. Have I tried Midol? No, unfortunately I haven't. I've tried talking to somebody. The whole, I think it's the whole toxic masculinity thing, that just be a man and figure it out. I guess it's eventually taking its toll. But, I don't know. It's weird. They keep talking about my childhood. Boring. Didn't do anything. Alright, let's rock and roll. Alright, let's get into the markets. As far as the dollar goes, breakdown there would be a great continuation, but I can't see a bounce right here. As far as Bitcoin goes, I even said in my chat today, and we kind of popped, I think we're selling off right now, but I said if there's an indication, are we going to open green or red? The cryptos were up, so maybe we're going to open green. As far as the Russell goes, so we are just basing out right now. Now, larger picture, so I tried to make these bright zones are the ones like I really care about, and we still have a very horizontal pattern, and we have a little tiny little baby horizontal pattern, but I gotta say the bears are still in control. After a meltdown like that, all we're doing is eating time off the clock. So with the bears still being in control, I would view that, I know my head's in the way, more as a bear flag, but we're kind of on top of this horizontal. We got like we got a little baby horizontal inside of a bigger horizontal. As far as IWM goes, I'll trade the Russell futures right here and some IWM call options right here. Probably sell a bunch of puts. I'll use that money to buy calls. Not enough to just completely smoke me. It sounds like a recipe for disaster. But if we get to this level, rocking and rolling. And overall, I would take a look at financials. Financials will probably lead the way here. Same story. Bears are in control. We bounced out of this zone. Probably found 5 or 6 buyers. Because we just didn't take it that far. So if we test that again, I'm sure we'll probably still find some buyers. Is it enough to hold it sideways? Is it enough to get a bounce? Or do we just kick that door in? And that's ultimately what's going to probably give that away. And it'll probably bleed into the S&P as well. So watching that for financial, or the Russell. Expect to move, very pricing in a normal week. As far as tech goes, I guess we're red now. I'm not bearish tech. Hope it pulls back though. I'm bearish the S&P right now. So all red is good news for me. I thought we were a little bit up there. I thought we'd get a better dip buy. I was looking more for this brighter yellow zone for a dip buy on tech. I wanted to just gauge how strong the bulls were by how much the bears showed up. And we got a little bit of a bounce. That's all right. If we look at just this, right, we hit that zone, melted down. We're still inside this. So tomorrow, this is when this candle closes. We got Monday, Friday, Thursday, all inside Wednesday's red candle. So that's still red. Hang on a second. I need you to simmer it down. Okay? Do what you gotta do. Sit up and go. Unless you want to come answer a question real fast. You don't want to come here, but now you have to. Red or green? Let's go. Which way do you think this is going? They're waiting on you now. Yeah, we're gonna have the oracle. Come on. Bull, bull on a red sweatshirt. This is actually a t-shirt. I do wear this when I'm short. Let's go. Come on. Let's get some pep in that step. Jeez, pretend like you're my kid. All right, what are you thinking? Red or green?
Can I stop moving?
All right. Were you counting them?
Red.
All right. What about, real quick while I got you here, then you can get back. Ignore these.
Ignore what?
The green red boxes.
Red.
Like big red. All right.
What do you think?
What? Well, hopefully big red, because then you get to buy a bunch more toys. I go sit down. Red across the board. One more. We getting a trifecta? Go ahead. You said you're giving these people. You're holding them up. The suspense. Red or green?
What do you think?
Don't. What do you think? There's not a wrong answer. There's not a wrong answer. Just
say it.
No, I've already told what I think. You tell me. They want to hear your opinion. You've never been wrong.
Red.
Okay. Go sit down. What? I don't know what you're saying. Go. You want these peanuts? Oh my gosh. There you go. All right, quit making faces. All right, so there's the oracle. My whole account is riding on her. Big red. All right. All right, so there you have it. Red shirt, red candles, full send. Let's just get back to the NASDAQ real quick. Hopefully it does. As far as, so I just broke it down for you guys that the bears are still in control just off of this little baby one. And that's if you're hoping for a reversal. We might just be overbought. Other than that, though, bulls still kind of on a pretty strong trend up. I just kind of think we're a little bit up there, so I'm thinking we get more of a leg down like we got here. So here's your leg up, leg down, leg up. I'm thinking leg down right here. Ultimately, I'll be buying the dip in my investment account, so I welcome all the red on top of being short in my trading account as well. And that will be the same for the S&P. I'm just actively short this one right here. Short. And if you're in my midship group, then you know I bought, so I'm short ES. I went long MES just to hedge against that. One of those days still ended up red. My red position was still bigger. So far, every position I've locked in has been green, so take that for whether I'm green or red. I really only count positions I've locked in, which have been green. It just feels weird saying it because I'm actively holding a red position. So we'll just disclose both, I guess. So one day it wasn't enough to counteract that. Locked in the MES contracts, and I am not long anything right now. And if we hit this again, I don't think I'm going to hedge this time. I think we'll just rock it and see if we head south. But I think we got a little carried away, and if we just stay sideways this whole week, then I got to switch and go long. Because when things push up, they pull over or they pull back. And right now, it does kind of look like we're pulling over. This was just for that YouTube short that I did in between these two zones. If you look at this weekly candle, all it was doji. So all of last week was nothing. If you're any kind of long-term swing trader or anything like that, last week was a waste of time. If you were a trader, there were some ups, there were some downs. Every day felt like a battle zone. We opened and closed the whole week, nothing. Last week didn't even happen. So we're still in between these two zones, and that's what I have kind of drawn out right here. Getting to the bottom of the zone, you got to look for buyers. Getting to this zone, you got to look for sellers. Breaking either one of those, you'd switch to go long or you'd switch to go short. I'm hopefully rooting for the bear camp right now. Not any trades I'm in. That was just as an example as to how I'd be thinking when we hit these zones. We'll have to see about your AI position this week. Yeah. Oh, though, yeah, we did just buy AI in the mentorship, not the mentorship, the E-Trade account. So send it. Now that's in both my main investment account and the E-Trade account. So hopefully that just goes to the moon while everything else melts. All right, S&P still pricing in a normal. That almost looks like it's growing, but here's your standard deviation. It got smaller for a short week, kind of a little bit bigger. We're pricing in nothing. Let me get. I do see AI right here real quick. As far as AI goes, I have a list of tickers I got to break down for my my group, my family at the Easter table watching Dawn. Well, happy Easter. Hopefully everything's good. I'll behave. No aliens, no alien rants. I won't talk about being abducted. Weird times, though. Just kidding. Everyone loves to talk about fire in the sky over Easter, don't they? All right, so as far as AI goes, so this got attacked. Hindenburg did a report. Obviously, they were short. It benefited them tremendously. And all we did was bounce out of this zone. That's a dead cat bounce at best. So Bear's still very much in control. We got to see just where everyone likes it. I liked this at this level right here. I hope it stays above this zone. That's what I'm watching. As far as the E-Trade account goes, and even my main account, is if we break this, I'm out. That's where I draw the line. It's held that before, so why would I choose to watch my money go down when clearly everyone else is selling? It's one of those weird things I do in the stock market where I don't like to watch my money disappear. I get some other people really get their kicks with that, but I like to stop out of things. Picture perfect. We find some buyers in this zone. Like we pushed up, we pulled back, we test that from the top, we rock and roll, we push this thing up. I would watch out for sellers at that 25 mark. I gotta pull my chat here real quick. All right, hopefully pull back to go long futures. Cody, me too, but hopefully it pulls back quite a bit more. As far as meta goes, so if you watch Don Kaufman from Theo Trade, he's actively short. He's just shouting at the rooftops almost that he is short this thing. We're coming into the zone, so it looks like there could be sellers there. I'm a little bit biased on this one because this is one of my favorite tickers, and it just keeps going up. We've seen red days in the market, and this thing just keeps shining. So the S&P could just be bright red. This thing's just sideways, or the S&P's green. This thing's really green. Zuckerberg did say they were going to buy back $10 billion worth of stock, and I kind of feel like that's what they're doing right now. So we're about to see that filing, and they've been loading up because there's been some kind of buy pressure here. Someone's loading up on Meta. So I assume with the sentiment, I guess the sentiment's actually very bearish, which is probably what's driving a lot of this price action up. People probably getting in short, it jumps up a little bit, and then they got to get out of their shorts, which is buy side activity, because when you short something, you sell to open, buy to close. You guys know more buyers than sellers, it goes up. So if they're stopping out, it just keeps pushing them up. Kabir, so my admin says we might see big moves this week. That's interesting. Why do you say that? I didn't think we had I thought we were going to have a boring week. So as far as meta goes, I guess I would just, sucks to say, keep an eye out for this zone right here. I don't know if I would actively just short this thing. We pushed up into that zone, like what we did with NVIDIA. So like we got CPI Wednesday. Oh, well, full send. So cool. We might get some movement this week. If you guys if you're on the $5 Patreon, then you guys watched the NVIDIA trade. NVIDIA has just been on this crazy run up, and we sold calls against it. That's the only day trade we've ever taken, but it got a little extended, so we sold some out of the money calls. Gamblers really love to just think that stuff is going to go further. Sorry for that dinner, but I like to. I'll play slot machine on that all day long. I'll sell them those contracts, fresh, hot off the press. And that's probably what I would do with Meta. If it pushed up and got into that zone, I'd wait for that type 2 spot, and then I would sell out of the money calls because they'll probably just be juiced up enough to make some money on that. We have FOMC and so PPI, CPI. We got all the letters this week, all the news. You guys know, if you're new here, I don't really care about the news. Like, I care about the news, but you'll often see this. If you follow anybody in my chat, they'll probably make fun of you for talking about the news, because the news will probably come out when we get in one of these bright yellow boxes, and that's when we're looking we're looking for movement. That's just how markets, institutions that can move markets, they need to create that kind of excitement or volume to move things around, to get in and out of positions. So not to say it's 100% of the time, but most of the time it's in these zones. So we see the setup. We talk about the news, but it's more like an afterthought. It's kind of crazy to think you're going to trade that news anyway, because the people with more money, maybe I'm just a negative outlook, but I assume they're paying somebody on the table, and they're getting the data long before we get it on the report release. So Wednesday and Thursday we might get some fireworks. All right, awesome. All right, let me get hang on, let me pull my chat real quick. Microsoft, God, this is another one. One of my favorites for the year. It is in a zone. I know you're selling the 295 calls on this, which I think you're going to be all right. But what I would do is, if this rejects right here, you've already sold those, I probably would close those, or at least trail them. So if Monday is red, maybe Tuesday is red, like, don't let that green trade go red. We had a conversation right now because he's doing so well. So what he's doing right here on this, he's actually one of my admins as well. But so anytime we have a position, if it's over 100 shares, whether it be a leap or 100 shares or something, you basically have a unit. Why not collect rent on that? So if you're going to YouTube, that's called a poor man's covered call. You use your leap as your collateral for your 100 shares, and then you sell weeklies against it. So it's in a Microsoft leap. He's up a ton. And I forget which zone he bought it in. I want to say down here. So he's absolutely killing it on that one. And then he's just on top of that selling weekly calls against it that are out of the money, hopefully to expire worthless, and just do it again next week. Now what happens is, if he sells 295s, the thing rips up to 330, whatever. The leap gets called away as that position closes. So there's just no way you can lose on this thing right now. What's up, Kate? Happy Easter. I think Microsoft has room till 310. I would watch out for sellers right here. I really would. We've rejected this area quite a bit, so I don't. So if you ever see me sell calls, I don't typically do it inside this zone. But if the volume permitted, if it was there, 295s, I would try to see what's the price difference between the 297s and the 295s. Because I like just going just outside the zones, because that way I know, like, there's somebody looking to sell right here, and that could be just enough time for me to be right on that contract and collect 100%. But 295s, given how strong this zone has been, I don't think that's the dumbest play either. I'm selling the 105 calls on Google. Then they had news they're popping off the next zone expiring this week. You sold the 105. What's your average cost in those real quick? And it's it for you real fast. You sold just. Hopefully tech pulls back. See if something that's bearish. You shouldn't really put yourself in a position to lose on these. Hopefully your average cost is down here. That way you buy them at 100, you sell them at 105, plus you collect the premium on that. And then you just, what I would do is, once that gets called away, I would sell the 105 puts, because then you'll be right back in at 105, hopefully a couple weeks down the road, and you get to collect some more free money on that. But let me know what your average cost is on that. Was that Lucia? Yeah. Long Google from 88. Nice. Next stop, 121. Google just has not shown off that strength. I know they said their chip is going to be faster than NVIDIA's, but they also said their AI was going to beat ChatGPT. And when they displayed it, it gave the wrong answer. Like, you couldn't even make it 15 minutes into the presentation. Sweet. Expected more from you, Google. That was right back here. Was it not? Yeah, that was this giant red candle. That was hilarious. Entered around 100. Okay, so you're right. So you made 5%. At worst case scenario, hopefully you can get out of that green. It sells off, and you can do that, or you have to buy that contract out and keep your shares. So if you don't want to get rid of your shares, that's what you'd have to do. You could roll that out a week. So you sold the 105s. As it pops up here, you could roll the 105s for next week, and hopefully it gets a pullback like that, and you come out unscathed. Personally, I will roll things 1 week. Most times, it'll go up. I will roll it to the next week, hoping that we're a little bit extended and we come back down. And that's gotten me, I've got to keep my shares so many times and just kept 100% of the money so many times on that play. Because, I sell out of the money. So we had to go on a trip just to get up there. And then, it sucks. It was like right at that Friday. So I had to roll into the next week. Then it pulls back. I keep all the money. I get to do it again next week, but I can move my strike up. I can't tell you how many times I have avoided any kind of getting my shares called away just from that. Google's one of your long-term holds, like Meta for me. I like Google, but I just like Meta better. Is Nightly Breakdown open? It redirected you to Reddit? That's weird. US dollar, Japanese yen. All right, so what is your, what's your horizon on this? If you're asking me what I'm going to do on these, it's going to start to be short the dollar, like we went over in the beginning of the stream. I got to say I would short this as well. If I was going long, my stop would be just below this last green. We'd hope to keep that trend alive. So look at the dollar here. You'd play the zone bounce, but I'm thinking we might continue this trend down. It's one of those where the bulls and bears both kind of have a solid case, I think, as far as technicals go. Whoever has more money is going to win that one, I guess. I missed the boat on Meta. I'd have to pull back hard for me to get in now. I got to say, that's not a good thought process. Or I guess maybe want to take it with a grain of salt. People said that about Tesla when it went from $300 to $500. And then it went to $2,500. You know how many times I told people to buy Tesla? I was like, nah, I went from $300 to $500. I'm like, buy Tesla. Nah, I went to $700. It's way too high. I was begging my dad. I was like, just buy Tesla. Come on. He's like, it's too expensive. I was like, come on. Then he goes to $900. Buy Tesla. Too expensive. He kept saying it was too expensive. Too much. Then it goes to $2,500. Like, man, come on. So I get what you're saying now, like, hey, this is up, it does need to pull back to get in, but you do have to look at what's the time frame and where do I see this thing realistically going. Is there time for me to wait? Should I wait a couple of days? Or is it, I'm going to buy, like right now, I plan on selling Bitcoin in 5 years, 10 years, so I don't care if I buy it at 23 or 25 or even 30. Where I think it's going to be is hopefully a lot further than that regardless, so it kind of makes that entry a little bit less meaningful, if that makes sense. But I definitely get you don't want to be buying when things just get soaring up here. You're like, yeah, this is sweet. Love to jump on this train. All right, final answer. Gosh, I don't know if I have one. I'm short the market, so I would hopefully be bullish the dollar, and maybe that would just keep this trend alive right here. So if I was going to take that stab, actually, I would lean to taking that stab because I'm sure. No, yeah, because I'm short the market. That would just be in my favor. I would say my mindset there was whatever position you're in, maybe this could be in a roundabout way a hedge for you. So like this one, since I'm bearish the market, which would be bullish the dollar, me being bearish the dollar might just be my hedge against like an ES trade. Because maybe the dollar sells off while ES pushes up. One of those will be red while this one is green. But I'm kind of stuck on this one. What's the longer term trend? I gotta say, longer term trend is down. Bounce there, lower high, like kind of made a higher low. I gotta say, short that one. TLT. I do like this one as a long play. It's coming into that zone right here, but we did hit this. So hit that zone, right? We've rejected. We stayed horizontal. Hit that. So now we're not even making it all the way down here. That tells me we're kind of gearing up. Like, hey, buyers were doing just fine being patient, waiting for this area right here, and they're not anymore. They are picking this thing up right down here. So that kind of tells me, we're going to zoom in real quick. Where's that zone at? So there's a line in the sand right there. All the buyers said, I'll take all the shares. Now I'm looking for buyers, so I use these wicks as so it's not your typical supply and demand because they'd have that all the way down here. But this is where I would look to enter. This is where I would look to stop out, is below those wicks. Right now, it looks like we're gearing up to break this thing up, so I would be long TLT right now. GDX, the gold miners. Gold has been killing it. I just remember the last time gold was up this high, we kept hearing gold to 3,000, and I short gold because they were saying that. They were cramming it down your throats. You couldn't walk out. Remember when Bitcoin first went to 20,000? Everyone's talking about Facebook. This is everybody talking about gold right now. It's going to go 3,000. I'm like, man, get out of here. I'm shorting this because you guys think that. And it was a great trade. It wasn't in 22. I think that was in 20. Yeah, that was in 2020. Because I short that thing for a while. I don't think it was one of these spikes up here. But I got to say, we're bringing that talk back. It's not quite as in your face, but we're kind of having that grind up versus that shoot up. When things get vertical, that bullish news on that is laughable. I start looking for entries to short it on that one. Right now, we're kind of just keeping that grind up. So I got to say, I would be bullish gold for now, which would be bearish the dollar as well. Remember, guys, gold does not have to inverse the dollar. Gold gets its value from the dominant currency, which is the dollar. So they will have an inverse effect. But remember, people can panic. They can buy shiny things. It doesn't show off in the charts that much because gold just isn't really up over the years. But whenever there is that real panic, they'll buy shiny things. And so that's where you could see the gold and dollar go up. Could use a Tesla run this week, and my outlet holding a strong 30-cent support. Nice. If the Fed slows down and raising rates, TLT would go higher. Yeah, I think TLT is a pretty decent hold right now for any kind of time frame. All right, we did AI. Okay, so if you guys are noticing in the chat, we got a bunch of new channels, like 1 million. This is very different from what I'm used to. So this is my Discord chat if you're in my mentorship, which I gotta say, guys, I don't ever say this a lot. Futures is I'm uploading futures content on the trading suite. You can buy futures by itself. There's only one video up. There's gonna be a few more this week. If you guys don't know, the teachable link down below, as I do each asset class, I trade all asset classes. January was my 10-year mark, not for all of them, but been doing this a while, but as I do each asset class, you can buy it by itself. Trading Suite has all of them. Right now, instead of doing a discount code and all that crap all the time, I put it up, and every time I add videos, I just make the price go up. So if you want it cheaper, you just buy it sooner. I thought that was the fairest thing to do. Anyway, futures content is going up now. I'm sorry it took this long. But that being said, I did create a coupon code, so it's lifetime access. So for the next 30 people, that do sign up. The chat's slowed down enough that I can have 30 more people. It's a number I made up in my head. Again, if I have to do a certain amount of hand holding, I can't have just 1,000 people coming into the chat. But as they progress, I don't have to hand hold as much. Anyway, use coupon code LIFETIME. If you do that to buy the trading suite, then look out for my email. That'll be lifetime to the mentorship. But where was I going with that? I was gonna say something, but and that reminded me of the trading suite rant. Shoot. Anyway, let's break a couple tickers down for you guys. You did buy Tesla 180 calls on Thursday. Need a big bounce. Did they just announce that the new factory in China? I've seen a couple of YouTube thumbnails about that. The battery factory. Hope that's enough to get you somewhere. I am long Tesla. That's my one weekend swing. What about going long silver? You ever thought about just putting your money in like a savings account? They move about the same. Bonds stay stable at this as they print money to prop it up. You Intel. Let's check out silver real quick. I was just making fun. Silver's been one of the ones that I've traded, and I don't know if I've ever been wrong silver, but I've closed so many silver trades down because I'm like, this time I'm going to do it. I'm going to buy silver. And it's so slow. I'm like, God. And then I just shut it down. Like, I don't even care if I'm right. I'm going somewhere else. Silver's been on an absolute tear. Just ripping up after that. I would be skeptical right here at this level. It should be obvious. Let's speed bump zone this up right here. So looking at just that right there, look at this. We've rejected, we've bounced. So I made this blue. Blue is what I call a speed bump zone. It's if I'm thinking we're going to go yellow to yellow. Blue is where I expect the turbulence, the red candles. If we base out, that's my opportunity to add on a couple bags. But also watch out for a rejection. So while they're kind of all traded the same, I use these more for management when I'm in a trade. So if I were to take the long play now, we're a bit up there. I'd have a trade set up enough to have my stop just underneath that wick. If it rejects, I'd look for a better entry price. But if it keeps going, if I was not in this looking to get in it now, my allocation would be pretty light. I don't like buying up here. So I'm not going to get just my arms ripped off when I try to go long now. That's quite literally like people buying Bitcoin at 20K. We'll call it 17. Maybe it pops up for a day or two and they think they're super traders. But if I were to do that and it did pop up, my stop would be in the green pretty quickly. And it probably wouldn't have enough to move the needle. A better dip buy down here, the 23 would be better, I think. Tesla price cuts will drop the stock price on Monday. Yeah, I've seen the bulls and bear case on that. You know, they cut the prices because supply chains are easing up. So now that they can, that's bullish because now people are going to buy more Teslas. Then you always hear like the Gordon Johnson approach, like, oh, the demand must be falling. You know, so that's bearish. Like Elon has said, as the only reason they went up was because of supply costs, and as supply costs drop, so will Teslas. So when I hear news like that, that's neutral to me. It's like, everything's kind of just staying the course. But yeah, we'll certainly see. How much are they cutting? I want to say it was 3,000. I might be just wildly off on that. Let's check the chips out. Intel, and then we'll do AMD. What did I hear about Intel that was incredibly bearish? I heard something that made me... So there's a guy in my chat. He works for Intel. And I remember thinking, I'm going to troll this guy. I'm going to post this, tell him I am just short Intel to the dirt right now. But I can't remember what the news was. But it did reject that zone. Bulls are still in control as long as we hold this blue zone. Breaking that, I gotta say it's time to get out, possibly look into a short position. I haven't bought Intel yet. My buy is $20. That's where I like Intel. Have I ever met Fat Man Zoom? Are you asking me, Karim? Yeah, of course I have. I met Fat Man Zoom before I even met Brad. He flew out to hang out with me. And then I went to Baltimore and we hung out. One of my YouTube videos is just when Fat Man Zoom came to visit, and he destroyed me in golf. And it was like probably payback, because as far as trading goes, like they would say a call out, so I'm like, no, I'll do this. Like now I'm gonna kill you guys at trading. But we went to Top Golf, and he was beating me so bad. He even told me, and this is like if you ever want to like destroy me, it's say a comment like this. He goes, I'm not even competing with Don anymore. I'm just looking to set the gap as big as I can. Like, I'm not even a competitor anymore. That's how bad I'm getting absolutely spanked. Talk about just stepping all over my ego. Like, oh man. I swore to just be a million times better at golf after that day. So lucky he's out, because I was going to beat him at golf one day. Nick, what's up, man? Thank you for that. Super. I've never seen that one. You gotta be the first person. Tipping the dealer. A little fireworks super chat. Is there like a ticker you want me to break down? If you're gonna donate something, if you're gonna do a super chat, at least make me work for it. Ask an awkward question, a ticker to break down. Great time to be in futures for ES and NQ. Gonna be a bullish week. It's a great time to be in ES and NQ regardless. It's a great time to be in there with risk management for sure. Hopefully it's bullish. Hopefully it works out in your favor. He's still saying to the moon as far as Intel goes. Well, the cool thing about Intel, we got above that horizontal pattern. It broke up. I think we're a little bit overbought. Let's see what the really stupid indicator says. Yeah, the RSI, a little overbought. So whatever weekend news I heard was probably just an excuse to be bearish. If I had to trade this, I'd look for a dip buy right here. Like a break and a retest. I like plays like that. Buy at the $30 mark. MES pretty bullish since I went short a bit ago. Don't say that. Hang on, I gotta take a... Alright. What was it, AMD? Nick, I know you're still here. Hopefully he has a ticker. He's like thinking of some really awkward question to ask. AMD. So this is my alert to buy AMD right here. I like it at this level. This is the poor man's NVIDIA. I'll never not say that anymore. One of my admins called that the... Kabir, what'd you call it? Basically, it was the poor man's NVIDIA, but he used another word for it. It was absolutely hilarious. But now, that will forever be known as that. I still think a dip buy. Breaking below that zone, like, if there was any kind of bullish hope for me is that we based out inside here, then I could go long. But breaking that. The poverty ticker for NVIDIA. That's exactly what it is. The poverty NVIDIA. Thank you. God, that was good. I literally was about to message you on Discord and ask you what did you call it that. NVIDIA long to 275, then short to the streets. Let's check it out. Gosh, NVIDIA's been... I've even heard some pretty decent bear cases for NVIDIA, and it just keeps stomping on those people. Like, no chance. I got it. If I wanted to be bullish AMD, it would have to gap up and get it. So if it gapped into that zone, I could say maybe take that with a grain of salt, then go long. I'd have my stop at 90.35. Anything here below, I'd have to say is a short trade or a wait to go long. NVIDIA. All right, so kind of what I just said about AMD. Like, hey, I'd be bullish as long as it like stayed inside, but you saw AMD kind of break down and get below. Kind of my thought process here. Can't really short NVIDIA until it breaks this zone, I don't think. Because we might just chill and go sideways just like this and then get the next leg up. And for whatever reason, so I have NVIDIA. I can't really add on to it. I've sold out of the money calls on it just to collect some premium. But... is that really the tracks you want to just jump on? This thing is just almost like not looked back. It has been on a very impressive just bull run. It does carry some weight in the markets. This level is going to be a pretty decent level to get above. But let's see what overall happens here. I hope it breaks down. So this, anytime you guys see these orange lines right here, this orange dashed line, that is my alert to buy some. So right now, that's my alert to buy NVIDIA at 245. If it breaks that zone, then I got to be out. NVIDIA's the new Tesla. Yeah, right now, it really has been. There's the Rona hype. We're literally already almost back there. That's 2021 all over again. Just V-shape all the way up. I don't know. I really don't know about this. That doesn't look good to me. This was a lot of hype coming into the markets. And there's your Rona crash right there. That is nothing. Remember that panic, fear, blood in the streets. Super crash, little blip on the my head's blocking. Like my ear could cover this crash up. That's the Rona crash. Unreal. And then look what we've done after that. AI craze. Yeah, it is one of my favorites for AI. Nvidia fall from grace will be a lot greater than 245. Think so? That's in my trading account, so that doesn't bother. This thing could fall to $20. I'll just take an L there. I'm not giving it all the wiggle room in the world. It's been riding a lot of hype since January. That is very hype driven for sure. CEO of Nvidia said their high quality chips are $30K per chip, and they can't make enough of them. Flat out, no competition. What can this $30K chip do? Can it run a YouTube stream without blue screening? Because I might be interested. One guy said he made $20 million from $70K in 6 months playing options. Is that possible? Yeah. Possible? Yeah. Doable? What do I even say to that? Is it doable? I mean, that guy did. Yeah. Could you tell that guy to repeat it and see what happens? You can be at the right place in the right time. You can trade dumb stuff and make great money. I mean, Wall Street Bets kids have done stuff like that. Only Wall Street Bets, I don't know how many Wall Street Bets kids have turned 3,000 or 4,000 into 4 million or 3 million. I did a YouTube video breaking it down, and for some reason, that was like some invisible ceiling, 3 or 4 million. Now, they never pulled any of it out. They actually lost it all, but they would in impressive times. You're going to need some luck with that. I certainly have never done that. I've heard stories of it. I know what it would take to do it. I just don't know if you'll ever be calling that move out. You know, that's where honestly, every story I've heard of somebody making that kind of money, that's what gives me FOMO. A ticker can go up, and tickers are always moving. I never get FOMO from that. When I see someone just making stupid money like that from a stupid decision, I'm like, man, I wish I could just be dumb for like a day or two and just blindly do something like that and it just pay out tremendously. But I can't because I got to do stupid things like risk management. It can be done, but not consistently. Yeah. And on a video I did earlier, I said the Timothy Sykes thing, like that's not real. And you know, what I meant, like, look at Timothy Sykes students. Thousands and thousands of them. You hear a bunch of millionaires? It's the same few every time, like Stephen Ducks. There's like a couple other ones. And right as, so Alan even commented on that last video. He says if you follow their story, those people were likely going to make it anyway. And that's exactly what I was thinking. Like, those star students that Timothy Sykes has, did they really need Timothy Sykes, or were they going to be just the next few good ones? And Timothy, he did make money. Yeah, he did it. Do it again. Like I said, you can be at the right place in the right time and you can kill it. But can you do that over and over again? And it's one of those things where lightning just doesn't strike like that very often. It doesn't strike in the same spot. He lost 15 million from that 22 in the market again. Okay, so he's trading ridiculously. He got lucky. What he did was he won the jackpot at the slot machine and thought, I'm going to do that again, and just put it all right back. I've heard everything I need to notice from those two comments. So, nothing new there. Google calls, I'd wait for a pullback. So, AMD, Intel, TWS, MICIP does not make a comparable chip. NVIDIA has been killing it. What about Google's new chip that's supposed to beat NVIDIA? What's all that news about? Still have the 7 million then? Yeah, hopefully he pulls that out. Learn that lesson and roll out. It's like the Doge guy. What he made, 80 grand into 3 million, but he says, I'm not going to sell because it's going to go to 10. You just changed your life and you what? That's what you did? I've never hurt my kids, but I would probably choke them at that point. I don't know. Something happened. Maybe if I just cut oxygen off to their head and turn their brain off for a second, turn it back on. They need a reset. I would lose it. I would never actually ever touch my kids. But, you know, like, as a parent, wouldn't you just be upset? Your kid's like, I just made $3 million. Like, hey, you check in on like a month later, like, hey, where you at now? Nowhere, it's all gone. You got a big house, anything like that? No, I still live in my 12 by 12. Nvidia is inside a key zone and overall chart. Top of the zone 272 and the bottom is 252. If it gets above 272, it has a pretty good chance of staying bullish. Just kind of continue the trend, yeah. Yeah, really, if you're watching Nvidia, I would just stick to the more day-to-day. I would take it day by day. Bullish above here, bearish below here. I'm going to catch that knife one time here because that trend might still be up. If this trend breaks, then I got to agree with my admin that we might just be turning this thing down, and we might be on one of these legs down. So I'm not going to be buying and adding on 19 times. I'm going to buy and stop out, let the bears do their thing. Maybe get it a whole lot cheaper. Maybe we just continue the bull cycle and it continues up. So that's why when I say I'm buying this, it'll be in my trading account. That's not an investment thing. If you make $22 million, just put it in a savings account and go to the beach. Yeah, if I really made $22 million on a trade, I would be the next Andre Jick. Here's how I make passive income on my dividend that pays 2% a year and doesn't move at all. I would just beat inflation every year as long as it's not crazy, and I'd be doing what I do now. I would just be hanging out on YouTube with you guys. All right, Nick. You've commented, and you still did not. Nick, you have no tickers to break down? No awkward question to ask? You just want to do a super chat? I appreciate it, but that's it. I feel weird. It feels awkward. How come 5 cents Google calls on Thursday hit $200 on Friday? Insider trading. Who knows? 5 cent Google calls hit $2, what it sounds like. Break down everyone's worst ticker. Can we do shop for him? We can. So Google took off. So that was Friday's expirations. You bought it in the morning and it just went to $2. So what did it open at? 105. So if it expired at $2, so they're buying the 106 calls. Maybe the 107s. I don't know. Oh, because you couldn't trade them, they were closed. Okay, never mind. I was trying to figure out, like, that would be cheap. Boeing. See, I actually short Boeing. Was it right here? Yeah. This was an L. Jumped up, went short. It based out. I even added on, I think. It wasn't a. It was a normal. It wasn't like oh, I took an L, but it was like a tiny one. This is a normal L right here. That makes sense. A normal L. It just broke up, but I was just thinking, hey, we're a little overbought. It's kind of what Nvidia looks like. Then it just continued trucking along. See that still looks like a short to me. I don't know why. If I were to trade this, I'd have to go long though and put my stop at 207.85. All right, let's do shop. Remember saying buy Boeing during the pandemic for like $90 or so. Wish I would have listened. Yeah, well, don't buy it. Well, I can't say don't buy it now. Do whatever you want, but I like buying things when they're cheap. I heard a long time ago to get rich in stocks, you got to buy low and sell high. I thought that was great advice, so I just started doing that. Try it sometime. It's amazing how many people shake their heads and think, "Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do," and then they'll hear something about it. They'll hear something in a hype cycle and then just buy it, like AMC, for instance. Had one of the most impressive runs ever, and then people are still buying at the peak. No, it's gonna go to the moon. No, we're on the moon already. We're here. Look out. The Earth's flat. Low and high? Maybe on something there. All right. As far as shop goes, gosh, I guess I would have much better. I would have rather have just bought the dip on this on Friday in that zone, because I'd had a pretty decent stop. 41.85 would have been my stop. Right now, if I do that, you know, it's almost $4 a share. If I were to buy it, that would be my stop, is 41.85. Yeah, I'd have to go long, and as we got into that zone, my stop would be in the green. I'd hope for a breakup, but if that put in a lower high, then I don't know how I'd feel about it. The problem is sometimes the dip gets lower and lower and lower. That's not the problem. I catch knives all the time that do that. The problem is, well, what you guys probably experience as a problem, and what I do differently is I stop out. Right? You guys have watched me. I tell you how to do my risk. So right here, we'll go long. Boom, I'm going to go long right here. Look at that position. That's my risk. 41.85 is my stop. I know plenty of people that will be my realistic take profit there. And it's not a 15-to-1 like that YouTuber told you to do. But I also make more money than that YouTuber doing this exact stuff. Because as we get up here, I'll probably trail it. Hopefully it breaks out and does this. But I got to be realistic with myself. We're going to find some sellers probably right there. But I'll stop out. I know a lot of people that won't have this bottom number right here, that stop out. They'll be like, oh, I bought the dip. And on Twitter, I bought the dip, but it kept dipping. It still kept dipping. Stock market's rigged. Manipulation. Oh, it's at the low. I'm not going to sell at the lows. Just kidding. New lows. And it just keeps going and going and going. Things like a mentorship cost too much because, well, they're probably down too much. Then you hear, I can't sell now. It's already at the lows, even though it just went a whole lot lower. Not to mention the fact that they probably added on 15 times because the RSI said oversold on a different time frame each time. And then they get out of the stock market. They lose all their money, and then they tell everyone else who's going to get in the market, don't do that, it's risky, it's rigged, 95% fail. And they try to warn you. You guys love that? You guys ever been in just a stock chat and they're like, I'm warning you. Oh, thanks. So you suck. I appreciate the warning shot. It's awesome. Eddie, I think, is on vacation. Did you put a muzzle on Eddie? I don't see anything in the chat. I think Eddie is on vacation. You said someone put their retirement savings into AMC. That is sad. They will still be working then. Yeah. Yeah. I think I even told them I did feel bad. So I talked to someone. It was her husband and then husband's dad. They're AMC fanatics. It's like I said, just tell them to reach out to me. Like I feel bad when I hear stories like that because I can't imagine where that guy gets his information from. His first trade is AMC, and he tells his dad, buy this. Going to the moon. Here's all the failure to delivers. Here's all this, every excuse under the sun. Dad puts his retirement in there. And now he won't be retiring. Eddie's in the corner shooting up. All right, guys, I'm gonna wrap up here. Nick, I want to say thanks again for that super chat. That was awesome. Unless it was a typo, then I feel bad. Yeah, because YouTube takes that most of it. I thought he was gonna own AMC theaters, realizing he's working at AMC. That's the meme that needs to be made. I'm sure it's already out there. Anyway, I'm gonna wrap it up here. Happy Easter, everybody. Hopefully this was to the point. I didn't expect half you guys to even be here. We'll see you guys bright and early tomorrow morning, though. Does the trading suite include the mentorship? Funny you ask, because that's literally just right now, and you have to use coupon code Lifetime. I did that because that's not a thing. I did it for a little bit. I took it away. It is back now for the next 30 people. So use coupon code Lifetime and then watch out for my email because that does include access, to the Discord chat, the night live streams, everything I'll ever post in the future. But that's not a forever thing. Yes, Wednesday, 5:30 Central. I am going to go live for the Patreon members. It's something I'm going to do quarterly. So we have the E-Trade account. Again, started with 0. We're growing it. And I kind of just don't like doing everything by myself. So I kind of want to just have a group conversation. So I'm going to go live. I'm just going to be reading the chat. I'll tell you guys what's in it. Well, you guys know what's in it. Where my mindset's at. But I kind of want to hear you guys' opinions. Do we want to lean into a specific sector or something like that? You guys know where it's at. You guys know the tickers I like. Ultimately, I'm going to be making the decisions, but I like to hear everyone's cases. Do we want to add a little bit more into dividends? Do we want to keep it in growth? How do we want to attack it? So that is Wednesday, 5:30 Central. I will post a link on the Patreon wall. If you're in the Discord chat, it'll be under the Patreon post. But show up if you want to listen. But I encourage everybody to get those keyboards working because I'm doing it just to talk to you guys. Just have some interaction with you. So, see you guys there. Have a good one, everybody. See you tomorrow.